My name is Joel Garrison. I'm a hyper-curious learner and a lover of the sense of sight, like most everyone. I'm delighted to moderate this podcast dedicated to sight on behalf of the Internet of Senses Institute. Today, we're incredibly excited to speak with a highly successful businesswoman who is also a teacher, researcher, educator, and leader. Please welcome Professor Elizabeth Strickler. Elizabeth is best known as an expert and advocate for promoting and utilizing non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, to build a more robust cultural economy. Her April 2021 TEDx talk is the entry point for those seeking to understand the NFT metaverse space. She spends much time presenting and engaging in conversations about NFTs. Elizabeth is also a very well-established academic. She holds positions in the business school and the College of Arts and Sciences at Georgia State University, where she is the founding director of the Creative Industries Blockchain Lab and director of media entrepreneurship. She also teaches media innovation and has successfully led multiple efforts to secure grants to research innovation and extended reality, or XR, in education. When she's not speaking about NFTs or teaching, she helps others start businesses and tell immersive stories. Her eccentric interests are evident in her academic credentials. She holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Philosophy from Boston College and 2 degrees from Georgia State University. First, a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science and a Master of Fine Arts in Digital Filmmaking and Art. There's much to appreciate about Elizabeth, her work, and her outlook on life and education. One of my favorite things about Elizabeth is her philosophy of education. She believes most people can learn most things and have fun. I encourage everyone to please check out Elizabeth's full bio, which we will link to our distribution of this recording. Elizabeth, before we discuss NFTs or the academic side of your work, please tell us more about your community service.
Oh, my community service. Okay, well, probably my biggest effort in that, actually, I've done several things, but most recently, I was on the chair of the board for a high school that I helped start. And so that, just sort of shows my interest in education and new ways to educate. And so that was for the new school, which is a 9th through 12th grade high school in Atlanta, Georgia. So that was pretty big effort as far as community service goes. But before that, I also did some projects bringing technology and computers to girls in India. I'm a big believer in technology as a pathway to the future.
Very nice. I didn't mean to surprise you with the question about your community service. It's just one of the things when I was doing research on you that I really stood out, and I really appreciate what all you've done. It seems like from those efforts and reading and learning about you that you're really tied in to the Atlanta community. Atlanta, I think, has a big place in your heart, but I noticed as I read in your bio that you got your undergraduate from Boston College. So I'm wondering, were you raised in Atlanta or came to Atlanta later in life? And tell us the backstory, because I'm sure this is a pretty fascinating story.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's super fascinating, but probably, when I was growing up, I was embarrassed to be from the South, and I thought it was backwards. And I was striving to get out of the South. So I was born and raised in Atlanta, and even my family, most people in my family were as well. So, and Atlanta was a much smaller town. It was not quite the metropolitan global city that it is now. So I wanted to go to someplace different, and somehow I just researched schools and ended up at Boston College, and it turned out to be fabulous for me. And I used to call Atlanta my nemesis, but I ended up moving back And then I ended up getting a one-way ticket to Istanbul and never coming back again, but again came back. And now I'm a big lover of Atlanta and find it to be a very forward-thinking city.
That's really amazing. And I'm equally curious. Again, as I mentioned, you got your bachelor's degree in philosophy. I did a minor in philosophy. I love philosophy. For me, being raised in a rural area in Arkansas, I went to Arkansas State, so it was local, but I was always trying to expand, go beyond my comfort zone, expand my thinking, and challenge myself. So I did the philosophy minor, and I eventually did a master's degree in speech communications and theater. But I was very short on talent, and never thought I would go into the theater or be a public speaker. I did that because I was trying to. I was so terrible at public speaking when I was younger. I'm still not great at it, but I was doing that to try to address a strength. Now, you went from being a philosophy major to getting a master's degree in computer science and then another master's degree in fine arts. Were you always an art lover? How did you come to appreciate art so much? And when did you decide to make it your passion in life? And if I could throw another question in there, why digital art?
Yeah. So the main answer to all of that is photography. So when I was young, my father was really into photography, and I got very into photography. So I got my bachelor's degree in philosophy, but I had a minor in film. So I always was and my mom's very artistic and a painter. So, I guess my self-expression was through photography, and that is what I think the link of the technology component to art, and artistic expression. So everywhere that I went after college, I would build a darkroom. Of course, people don't need to do that nowadays, but in order to develop your own film, you had to have a darkroom. So it's very technical, component to self-expression. So I think that's where the link to the digital is. But the other thing is that the reason why, so I got the degree, loved art, Boston was incredible to experience new music and art particularly. But of course, with the philosophy degree, I did this. This is an odd way of phrasing it, but this is how things were phrased in the 80s, was that I worked for emotionally disturbed adolescent girls. So I worked at a school halfway house kind of thing for girls who had been removed from the home because it was too dangerous. They needed to find stability. So, but I did that for a year, and that was really hard. So when I moved back to Atlanta, they needed math teachers, and I had always loved math. So I was sort of just boning up on my math skills at Georgia State when I found computer science, and the logic of that is very philosophical, actually. So that's where that came in, and I just loved computer science. So when I was at Georgia State, I became a systems administrator and was helping run all the computers there. And they got a grant from Kodak to do special effects on film. So that at that time, you had to scan the film into a computer, and then frame by frame do the effect on the digitally. So you've scanned it, so now you've got a digital image of each frame. So then you would do the effects on a computer. This was before After Effects or anything like that. And then after you had done the effect, so simple things like doing a foreground combination with a background green screen, and removing the green screen, that a composite is what that is. So then you would have to print it back to film so that it could play in the theaters. So it's this the virtual to the the real to the digitized, back to the real. That is sort of what's informed me and, inspired me from the get-go. So while, and because I got my MFA while I was working as a systems administrator at Georgia State, that, gives you the terminal degree that allows you to teach in any of the artistic fields. And so when I started teaching, I was doing like teaching editing and teaching filmmaking and teaching storytelling, things that I had been learning. Sort of this idea of nonlinear was coming up. But one of the things I noticed was that students would spend an inordinate amount of time working on a single film, but without really understanding how it might impact or play with an audience. So that's very much, it was sort of a zeitgeist mindset of design thinking, which is human-centered design, which is when I create a thing, how will it resonate with others? And so I started kind of really delving into that. So I was teaching a little bit of design thinking and business skills, basically to creatives, to try to help situate themselves in a place that would help them have more potential success by understanding not like the business of art and film, but understanding how your work might resonate and who it might resonate with best and how to amplify that. So.
Wow. So again, that community service aspect comes out again. So I connect all the dots now. I understand, your love for Atlanta, your love for art. It's all coming together as far as how you've come to where you are in life. So that's really, really amazing. And that fits in very well with my next line of questions.